Alright, so let's continue giving the styling to individual job cards. So over here, let's first import the make style function that will allow us to create our style sheet, and let's do the exact same thing of saving that function, the return value of that function inside the use style. And let's just create a class name of wrapper, and that wrapper will basically be used in the box that contain the which wraps the entire job card. And let's just give it a border of 1 pixel solid and the color value of E8 E8 E8, so that will give a light gray color as a border. And let's just use this hook inside our component and save the value of it inside the classes. So now the classes is basically an object of different class names that we have over here, which has the relative CSS properties, and we can use those class name by inside the box component and refer to the classes, and we can use the class name. And if we have a look right now, you may or may not be able to view it, but it has a bit of like a light gray border over here, so that's great. Now let's just give it a bit of padding as well, because it kind of look very much constrained, and we can do that like we have the option of giving the padding over here, or we can pass it as a prop as well. And we will do it in such a way of adding the padding as a prop and a value of 2. So that's going to be 16 pixels, by the way. So let's have a look. Yep, now it's looking a bit nice. So the other thing is, let's just align all these like the grid items over here that you can see in kind of center layout, so it looks a bit neat. And we can give the grid container, which wraps all the 3 grid items, the align items prop of align items of center, so that's gonna align all of them in the center. Yep, now it's looking a bit nice. Now let's just give some color to this the company name, just like what we have over here. And for that we need to create the new class name for the company name, and we will be using this class name inside individual the word in the company name. Yeah, I got confused over there. And firstly, let's just change it from subtitle 2 to 1, so that's kind of constant. And now the thing is that this company name actually uses the background color, which is the same as what we have in the theme. And in order to use or to refer the theme inside the make style, we can change this object into a function. I'm just like cutting it right now, and we can change it into a function and just give back the same object, like whatever the value that we have over here. And one second. Okay, so what we did was, like, instead of passing an object, we are having a function which is returning back the same object. But the thing is that now the function that we are passing, the first argument to it would be the theme that we are working with this, and we can refer to this theme and use the different properties inside of it, while we actually give the CSS properties to the class name. Now I already have some CSS properties, and let me just paste it. And again, you can pause the video, and one second, I'm zooming in, and you can just copy paste it. And let me just explain you what do we have over here. I hope you have kind of copied it. Okay, so the thing is, firstly we are giving a font size of 13.5, that's normal. Now the background color that we have over here, we are referring to the theme that we have, like the first argument that is getting passed to the function, and within it we can refer to the exact same thing that we are working in an application. So we're saying that theme, and inside of theme we are using the palette, and we are referring to the same primary and main. Like if we check the theme right now, it's the same exact thing. Like this is the theme, and within it we are referring to the palette, to the primary and the main. So this is that color. And if we save it right now, like let's just go through the rest of the stuff, such as we are having a padding, and within it we again referring to the same theme that we have, and we have a spacing, like you can say the spacing function, and within that spacing function, if you pass in any value, so that value will be multiplied by 8 pixel. It might be a bit confusing to get in the beginning, but the thing is that this function, the spacing function inside the theme will actually return back a value, and that value will be the result of this value being multiplied by 8. So if we open, like I open the calculator, so the way this is that 75 will be multiplied by 8. So this is basically gonna be 6 pixels. And we are also adding a border radius of 5 pixels so that we do not have the sharp edges. And now we are giving a display of inline block. Now the reason to this is, let me just kind of comment it out right now, and if we view it right, we can see that it will be taking the entire width. And okay, I forgot to refer this class name to this typography, the second one, and we can say that the company name should actually use this class name. And if we have a look at it right now, we can see now it is looking a bit nice. But the thing is that the typography component actually uses paragraph tag internally, and the default display of paragraph tag is of block, and block obviously take the entire width, and thus we need to change it from block to inline block, so it only takes as much as space that it actually requires. So yep, now it's looking a bit nice. Perfect. So let's just focus on the skills right now. And the way it should look is like this. Like it kind of look like chips if you have like seen the UI design for like the chips on different websites. So let's give it kind of a similar class name, and we need to apply that class name or the styling to this individual grid item, which is basically displaying the skills. And what we can do is, like, let's create a class name of skill chip, and let's just give it some CSS property. Now I already do have some, and let me just explain you what it is. And again, you can kind of pause the video. 1 second, what did I do? And copy paste this, like you can type it in. And by the way, sorry for the inconvenience, because I think by the next tutorial or a different project that I will release in the future, I will figure something out so that it's easy for you to work with. I could have added this in the repository as well, but anyway, for now you can just copy and type it in, and I assume that you have already done that. So let's just work with this. And what do we have? Like, what we have over here is that the margin, we are again referring to the theme that we get, and we are saying the spacing, the exact same thing what we are doing. And now this 0.5 will be multiplied by 8 pixels, so that's kind of the half, so that's 4 pixels on this one. And padding is using the same convention, and again we are giving the font size of 14.5, the border radius of 5 pixels, the transition. Now the transition will does not really matter right now, it actually does not on this skill chip, and it has a cursor pointer, so like when the user points it. And actually even this does not really matter, because we have the cursor on the wrapper itself. Okay, we do not. So what we can do is we can cut this out from here and give the wrapper the cursor of pointer. And it has a font weight of 600, so that makes it bold. And again, we are referring for the background color, we are referring to the theme, the palette, the secondary. So that's basically the darker color, the same color that we are using in the header, and that's the background color over here. And we are giving the color of FFF, so that kind of gives the text color of white. So if we check it right, okay, again I forgot that we need to use and refer to this class name to individual skill chip, and we can do that by class name, classes, and the skill chip. So let's have a look to what we have. All right, so that does look nice. And the reason to the margin in between is because we are adding a bit of margin over here, so that's perfect. Now if we compare to the original design, we can see that it's pretty much the same as what we want, like what we look for. The only thing I guess left is that when the user hovers on individual job card, it kind of creates the effect of the box shadow, so that it makes it look kind of elevated, as well as it adds this border color to the left. And the last grid item is pretty much the same as what we have over here. So let's just work on the styling on this one. And inside the wrapper, what we can do is we can I'm about to paste some code, and let me just explain you what it is. So again, we are using the ampersand, so that basically refers to the class name in which is like the class name which is wrapping this up, or like the class name of which it is inside. So this ampersand basically refers to the wrapper class name, and it is saying that when the wrapper class name or the component which is using this class name is hover. When the user hovers their cursor on it, add these two CSS properties. The first one is the box shadow, and again you can kind of pause and type it in, and add and also the border left of 6 pixels solid, and this color, kind of like a blue one. And if we check it right now, we can see it is actually working, but it's too abrupt, and we need to make it a bit smooth, and we can do it by adding the transition property of 0.3 on the wrapper, not on the hover but on the wrapper, and I need to like wrap it in the quotes. So it is basically saying that all the transition that happens on this class name have like make them happen in 0.3 seconds, so that's like 300 milliseconds. So if we have a look right now, and yep, now it's looking a bit nice, so that's great. And we can kind of mimic this, like having multiple grid the job card, by going into the app and basically copy pasting it multiple times. So it kind of gives us the look of that having different job cards. So yeah, now it is actually looking nice. I really like this animation of the border from the left and all. So yep, that's great. And I think we are done with the UI part of things. So by the next video, let's just start implementing the different modal as well, because alright, so we also need to work on the modal, the dialog boxes basically for the post job and to view the jobs as well. So in the next one, we will we will create the component to display the individual job, like the information regarding the job. Like if we check the original one, when the user clicks on the check button, it opens this dialog box. So let's build this component in the next video.